Good morning, Opening Pathways viewers. It's Tom Lenoble. It's great to have you with me again. Today I have Ihunanyachi Thompson. Ihunanyachi. I love saying his name. He's the CEO and co-founder of DoxFlowy. Welcome to Opening Pathways.
Thank you for having me, Tom. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited you're here. And I know the viewers are going to be interested to hear about what you're doing. Let's jump right in here. So I'd love to
Right.
know a little bit about DoxFlowy and what sparked your idea to start it.
Um, so DoxFlowy, it's a document automation and e-signature software. It was a we built DoxFlowy as a follow-up to useful PDF. And the idea came in when we looked at what how people create a document and see, okay, there is a lot of hours put into creating documents. We could make that shorter, could make that better, and make that well compliant to every sector and industry. So that's where how DoxFlowy came about, and today it's growing really fast, and we're adding um, more useful features because in our one of our goal or vision is to make sure that we build useful software and make complex processes become simple, and that means giving back time to businesses and business owners so they can focus on the business more instead of the tools that they use to run a business.
Terrific. We could use a little more simple today, that's for sure. So tell me this. Um, What is it that made you know that this was the thing that you wanted to do? Like, when was the moment that you said, yes, this is my path? I know we're on to something.
Okay, personally for me, I started out into the computer world at a very early stage. Here in Nigeria, it's growing up, getting a hold of a computer was, really very difficult. But at some point in time, my dad got a computer and in the house, and I fell in love with the computer, and I, started fiddling with it and learning from there. So along the line, fast forwarding into the future, I got into software and I became a software engineer. And that's the first phase of, okay, knowing that, okay, this is what I want to do. So I want to solve problem using software. So I started off running some agency, helping businesses build websites and all of that good stuff until I met my partner currently, my co-founder, who at first I did a job for him, like, like an agency. I did a job for him. It turned out really good, which he actually sold that product later. It's called Kylite. We I did that job, and when everything turned out good, we had like a session, and he was like, why don't we come together, your expertise and my expertise in digital marketing, and then we came together to form a company, Useful Media Limited, and we started building product. So Useful PDF was the first thing. At first, we wanted to build PDF tools tools that you can use to manipulate and do or whatnot with PDFs. But we noticed that at the time we didn't have enough resources to to deep dive into that, and we kind of pivoted. We pivoted to building a document generation for easy documents that you can have in different states. For example, in real estate in the US, there are some documents you can you can get from the states, and we got all of these documents templates, and you can download for free. But if you want a custom made software document, then you just fill out a little questionnaire, and then poop, we generate the document
I
for you.
see. Good,
Yeah.
good. So tell me how, since you started DoxFlowy, how have you changed since you've been on this journey? What's changed about you?
Well, a lot. A lot has changed. So I at first I was hands-on, writing code, doing the dirty work. And then later on you know, moved on to um doing more of the leadership work, right? So and now I still get my hands dirty, but not writing, um, code, but practically orchestration and the architecture, building out the entire software architecture for DoxFlowy and any other of our products. So I've become more of a um a planner than a builder currently.
Got it,
Right.
got it. So tell me this, we all have early role models in our life when we're little, kids growing up, and it has something to do with who we become in life, something that somebody influenced us. Who was that for you?
Um, for me, growing up, I had this thing of, as a kid, I could still remember I had this thing that I want to become. I usually look at the scientists like Albert Einstein and all this Newton and all these guys. I'm like, I want to build something great. I want to,
Yeah.
invent something. So it was of recently that I looked back and I'm like, really, I'm actually building something. Like I'm actually
Yeah.
inventing things right now. Not basically like Albert Einstein and Newton and all those guys, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
actually
love
building
that.
something.
Well, you've got a long way to go. Who knows what you might do, but that sounds like from a little early on, you were a little entrepreneur in the getting ready to blossom and grow, and that's what you're doing. I love it. So tell me
Yeah.
this, what values have guided you from the start? And is there one that's deepened as this journey has gone along?
Yeah, one thing that has, been part of my mantra, it's um transparency and credibility. Um, I try to work with, people and being as transparent as I can. So building trust has been, part of what I do. All the partners, people I've worked with, they trust me with a lot of things, so that what shaped my agency. Um, because businesses had to trust me with a lot of their secrets. So um that's one thing I've always had had going for me. I have myself, I'm always truthful with how
Yes,
I treat my customers and how I treat my clients.
love that. Ihunanyachi, tell me this. How has life asked you to slow down recently? And what did you hear when it asked you that?
Recently, um recently we what came what made it clear to me that okay, life is actually telling me to slow down is we are trying to move so fast. you know Moving fast has been the thing of the day. Move fast, break something and get things done. So I got to slow down a little bit lately because I had a podcast last year, and that podcast led to um some business transactions that are still ongoing, and that also led to me realizing that there was a lot I did within a short period that I didn't, I wasn't in a hurry to do, but I did so much. I wasn't, fast pacing myself, trying to do everything at the same time and all of that. So it got my attention that, okay, I think I need to slow down and more of delegation and all of that. So I'm now working very closely with my team. Delegation has been the order of the day. I'm always trying to slow down and look at what are we missing, because if everyone is moving fast, I should be the one to slow down.
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And slowing down, if for no other reason, allows us to breathe. Boy, do I know about this uh, break things methodology. Remember, I'm an early Facebook employee, and we heard that a lot. Move fast and break things.
Break things,
So,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't like break things part. I like to move fast, but I wasn't so into the breaking things. Tell me this. I want to know about a risky decision you've made recently and what gave you the courage to act on it.
Okay. There are lots of risky decisions, as a business owner, you tend to make decisions every day, and some risky, some not, and some turns out well, and and some doesn't, right? Um, I think recently we did we we have had like we lost um our designer, our UI UX designer some time ago, and then we had to go with what we are already working with, and we didn't have like an in-house designer. We need to, like, sometimes we just contract and all of that. So I made a decision that, okay, we need to get one, and we need to get our team is basically we are more of male, right? So I'm like, no, this is not good. I think we should go for a female. But this is not to trigger the the, the female equality issue, but we've had several failures of getting employing a female to work on something, and but I made a decision, and like, no, we'll try. We'll have to get a female to work in this position. So I made that decision. So we had two candidates, and I chose one of them. We have two candidates, the two finalists, right? I chose one of them. The first month, it was supposed to take us like 2 to 3 months to evaluate, right? But the first month, I made a very harsh decision, and I had to stop and say, okay, I'm not seeing what I want in this person. I had to switch, and that turned out absolutely well right now. So it was a
Yeah.
risky decision, uh, both ends, beginning from the beginning at the point to the point where I had to, make another decision to switch to the next candidate. Was both risky, but it came out well.
Good.
After, yeah,
Yeah, risk is an interesting thing. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but there's always an opportunity to learn something from it for sure. So
yeah.
tell me this, how does Ihunanyachi decide when to pivot or push through?
That's a very good question, because when I was introducing useful PDF, I remember I told you we started off like a PDF manipulation tool and all of that. So we saw that I I looked at it, and I saw that we can actually build this and build it fast, get into the market fast, and evaluate really fast, instead of trying to trying to make something special when the aim is not to make something special. The aim is to test the market, immediately. So that gave me the data I want to, make that decision to pivot, because we pivoted useful PDF from what we're doing. I think we're like in about 6 months, and it was a hard decision because we have put in put in time and resources and all of that to build out at the time. So we had to pivot, and then it came out, it worked out well. So we exited useful PDF, like I Uh, I think after like 2 years, we exited. Bonsai Technologies bought useful PDF away from us. So it that was the decision to pivot came in as a necessity, seeing that yeah, we can't do this, but we can do this.
Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So tell me this. I know that in my career, some of my biggest mistakes have led to my biggest successes. What mistake taught you any more than any success?
Oh, we had several mistakes. Um, we okay um when we first had the first version of DoxFlowy, we were quick to validate, and we burnt a lot of money in marketing, and that was a very terrible mistake. So, well, it came at a really a great cost, right? So we made that mistake, and we realized that DoxFlowy wasn't actually ready. Uh, so we burnt a lot of marketing funds without getting any result. So that taught us that didn't just teach us that we can still that we have the superpower which we just neglected. Instead of burning so much money trying to test, we could still use what we used for useful PDF that we didn't actually spend marketing money. We just actually put in the work in digital marketing, which is one of our superpowers, right? But we made a mistake when we launched DoxFlowy, and we exhausted our marketing funds trying to move too fast. And at the time and now it made us not just it didn't just teach us that we are wearing DoxFlowy was a market fit at the time, and it also taught us a bigger lesson that we can do this without burning so much marketing funds, which
Yes.
we have done it before. Why are we now doing this? So we made a very terrible mistake at the time.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me this. How do you know and recognize when fear is trying to give you information versus being a stop sign?
Yeah, that's like a life, not just for business. That's like in life. There's always fear, to stop you from making that first step in everything, especially when it's something new. Um, Even when you try to learn a new skill, there's always a fear somewhere there, you know, trying to make you not to take that step. But the what what I do when I am faced with fear of taking a decision concerning, especially when it comes especially when it comes to spending resources, like, okay, I'm going to spend this amount of money, and I don't know, I'm not certain of the outcome. That's when I see myself in that situation. um the data that fear brings in is always prominent, is always in your face. So the data that might actually make you take that decision, make the right decision, would is always not, clear
Yes. Yeah.
at the time. So for me, I do not hurry to make. There is a process that we designed. Actually, we designed it, and I now use it also um, internally, and I use it for myself personally to make decisions when I see that it's a difficult one and there is some emotions in it, like fear, especially. The process is I will look at the decision. I have to, like, okay, take the decision and say, okay, this is one way, this is the other way, and I give myself probably a day or two to evaluate both ways. What happens if I go this direction? What happens if I go this direction? And the percentage of results I get, a estimated result I get for those directions determines, okay, let me go this way. So,
Yeah.
and when I do that, if it fails, I don't regret. I'll tell myself, okay, I did my due diligence. So
Yes. Yeah, I've learned that fear is simply an opportunity for growth.
yeah,
You know, fear can really immobilize us. It can make us get cavalier, like we can do anything. But at the core of it, for me, it's just an opportunity for me to learn something. And I find a lot of people forget the evidence of what they've been able to do in their past. We get in the moment of something that brings us in our presence that we're fearful of, and we forget all the things that we've done before that we accomplished. Right in that
exactly.
moment, we're just focused on one thing. We kind of leave out the fact we've been here, may not be the same issue, but we've been here before and we are still breathing. So tell me
Yes.
this, what are you most proud of? Not publicly, not professionally, but personally.
Um, okay. It's going to be public now, right? So, what I'm proud of, um, personally, it's actually my my family, how we've come together. It's been it's been a hell of a journey, but we all still together and we're still pushing together. That's my greatest pride. I don't
Yeah.
see anything I do achieve with my skill or whatever I do to be so much of a great deal. But the the love that you can get from family and friends is should be what keeps you more going than whatever you achieve
Yes, yes.
professionally.
I can feel that coming through you, Ihunanyachi. I can tell that how important that is to you. I love that. So tell me this, what boundary do you have that has been essential to your sustainability?
um the 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 basic boundary for me, um for everyone, it's that my time is very important.
Hmm.
um like like you always say, there is time for everything. So it always happens whenever I do not keep the boundary of maintaining, okay, I have a meeting with you, or I have something to do with you for 1 hour, and that's 1 hour, it should be 1 hour. You know, if we're meeting at this point, you should meet at this point, so that's time is I think time is um the most valuable currency.
Yes.
You can't you can't spend it, uh, and but you can't own it. It just keeps going. You just keep spending. So
Yes.
I I I set that boundary in that whenever we have something to do at the point in time, let's get it done at the point in time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
basically,
there's no do-overs. It's not
exactly,
like watching a video on our phone where we get that little backup 10 seconds. It's not how life works, right? And the other thing I find
exactly.
interesting with all our metaphors we use about time of it's going too fast, I don't have enough time, we all get the same amount
The
of
same
time.
time.
We all get the
Exactly.
same. So tell me this, how do you balance being a leader with being a learner?
That stuff. Yeah, that stuff. I can tell you, I have logs of articles, videos I'm supposed to, go through over. So it's really hard. Sometimes when I go for exercise, I, use the time to listen to a book, you know, it's difficult to balance the time because, like you said, there's not much time.
Yeah.
We don't get enough time. We always don't get enough time. We're like, oh, 24 hours is too small. We should have more time, but we all get the same amount of time. So it's tough balancing production and learning, right? So you want to keep producing. Yeah, you don't have enough time. You want to keep producing, but you still have to learn. And because learning, like right now, my newest arsenal is being able to architect and let AI write some piece of code for me. So I still need to need to find time to learn the new skills around AI, you know. So it's difficult to balance that. But what I do is whenever I find a spare time, like going for a run, I listen to a book. But whenever I find any spare time, I use that to, learn something, read a book, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I know I go to bed each night. I go to bed early. I get up really early, and especially this past week, for some reason, I'm going, wow, that day just, where did that go? But I shift my mind because I've trained it to know that's not where to focus. My focus is to get some rest and know that
Rest.
I have another one coming. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I express my gratitude
Yeah, yeah.
that I woke
You
up
go again.
because some people didn't. Tell me this, what does renewal look like for you beyond just rest or a day off? How do you renew yourself?
Honestly, I like running a lot. Um, Whenever I run, I feel refreshed. That's one thing I can identify that makes me feel not just sleeping or resting, but whenever I go for a run, the longer the run, the more refreshed I feel.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah. I find that
Yeah.
exercise, getting out in nature, whatever it is for each of us, for me, it clears out the cobwebs. It's sort of like, I don't know if I think computers now do it on their own as opposed to us having to prompt them to do a defrag. But it's sort of like I'm
Yeah,
defragging my brain, all those little particles that
exactly.
are floating
It's
around. I get a fresh, clean
get rid of
slate
them.
once it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Tell
happens
me
to me.
this. What's the boldest vision for what comes next?
The boldest vision, um, currently it's taking DoxFlowy to okay, before I say that, this morning I actually prepared a pitch deck, and when I was preparing that and I was looking at um the projections, I was like, okay, I can be ambitious, right? But I should be realistic too also. And I said to myself, nah, let's just be ambitious and let's not be realistic.
I
So
like.
I'm like, okay, let's go for 50,000 enterprises. That should be the vision for the next um 3 years. Oh, no, that's 18 months. 18 months is not 3 years. That's a year. And so that's the vision for me, hitting 50,000 enterprise accounts for DoxFlowy. Uh, it's audacious currently, but we can do it. Currently we are having we're developing something that would make real estate in first of all we are starting with Texas currently to make real estate transactions a breeze for both both house owners or title companies and whatnot, make it a breeze.
Boy, do we need
So
to do that. I'm going to tell you, buying a house and the paperwork you have to do. And I've lived in a number of states here, and some of them are stacks this big, and some of them I always drove them crazy because I sat down at the table and they would hand me the documents and I would start reading them. And I remember one guy asked me one day, "Are you actually going to read it?" And I said, "Every word." And from then on, they knew to send it to me in advance because I was actually going to read it. So, boy, anything we can do to make that process simpler, I'm for.
Yeah, yeah. So we're working on that. It's almost ready.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That'll be very popular. So tell me this. I'm interested, Ihanuchi, to know what does legacy mean to you at this stage of your life?
Um, for me, I think that is basically um the footprints we leave. So what f- the people who look up to us, the people who directly, you know, look up to us are the who will leave this footprint for, and we actually also for us to be able to leave a better footprint, we also need to identify the people who are looking up to us. So I think I have identified mine, and the footprint I'm going to leave behind. I think is a good one. So that's what legacy means for me. It's just definitely the footprints we'll leave behind.
Good. I like this. Very good. So tell me this. If a young Ihanuchi were watching this podcast, what would you tell him?
Yeah, I would actually tell the young Ihunanyachi to look out for those informations that nobody throws around. Nobody, it's not it's not there in the space. Look out for them. They have very useful information.
I like it. So if your story could leave the listeners with one invitation today, what would it be?
I would invite anyone who's watching this podcast to try DoxFlowy. And when they see this podcast, they can personally send me a DM on LinkedIn, and I can make sure I make it easy for them to try DoxFlowy for free.
I love that. I love that. Ihunanyachi Thompson, co-founder and CEO of DoxFlowy, thank you for being on Opening Pathways today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tom. I'm really, really glad you had me. I appreciate.
Great having you here. And to my viewers, this is Tom Lenoble, and I'll see you next time.